Good morning to you, the viewers of NTN Live this morning. If you're watching, you're a resident of St. Lucia, good morning. If you are St. Lucian living in the diaspora, good morning to you as well. We are live from the Parliament building in downtown Castries. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jessie Leonce and I'm joined by my colleague Carlton Cyril. Morning, Carlton.
Bonjour Jessie. Et puis, bonjour pour vous qui écoutez, vous qui avez nous sur NTN. Quand la côté mon service nous avons information développement qu'on y a fait. Aujourd'hui mercredi le 29 avril nous en caille consiste et puis c'est ici nous avons action qu'on y a point coup. Hier bagay la commencé puis premier ministre la cabinet et puis tous les deux factions en caille la joindre ni Sénat et puis yo joindre ici et puis adresse gouverneur général. Nous avons pris information là pour faire ça et nous avons dit merci tellement qu'on nous toujours cadeau pour information qu'on y a sorti avec développement rester ici et puis nous et suivre nous qu'on nous toujours dit yon manière ban l'autre sur radio sur YouTube sur NTN nous avons dit nous avons bien apprécié ça et quand Jesse dit en commencement on dit nous avons apporté au CAI Parlement. Merci tellement. Jesse?
Thanks for that. We brought our St. Lucia COVID-19 response report that we usually do in the GIS studios down to Castries at the Parliament building this morning. And if you were following us in the last 24 hours, you would have witnessed the opening of the 5th session of the 11th Parliament in St. Lucia. And that started off yesterday, the 28th of April, with the House of Assembly and the Senate, the House of Representatives, the lower house, and the Senate, the upper house, both meeting separately and then adjourning to meet jointly for the address by the Governor General, His Excellency Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack. Of course, we are going to speak about the throne speech in just a moment. However, just to give you some information, yesterday the joint sitting of Parliament was followed by a Standing Finance Committee meeting in closed session yesterday at 2 p.m. and that was to review the estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2020-2021. So hopefully we can get a report on that meeting of the Standing Finance Committee. It will be presented today. The sitting of the House of Assembly, that is why we're here this morning, is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. and the debate on the estimates of expenditure 2020-2021 will be taking place this morning. Just to go over the motion down for consideration, be it resolved that the House of Assembly do adopt the report of the Standing Finance Committee on the estimates of expenditure for the financial year 2020-2021 in the sum of $1,697,312,800 as a charge against the Consolidated Fund and other funds of the state of St. Lucia. So we are getting a figure here as to the spend of the government of St. Lucia for the next year, the next budget year. And of course, during the throne speech of Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack, he did outline several plans of his government in terms of not only addressing, as you would have noticed, he omitted the whole COVID-19 situation, but addressing overall development of the country, and hopefully we will be getting some information from the government ministers on the plans of cabinet.
Et puis, oui, Jesse, quand nous continuons ici avec information, quand vous, peut-être, qui suivent nous, qui savent, les vini pour ça qui a point coup ici en Parlement, budget, c'est un mot parole là sur Bouchan Chaïdi nous et puis Kratil nous, ou qui savent, bon matin, c'est le Premier ministre qui a présenté dépenses là pays qui trouvé quoi en dedans avec pièces ressources qui a entré qui manière pays a manager ma besoin d'où dans temps qu'on à présent et puis vermin COVID-19 ça fait plus difficile. Comme on a dit hier, on a changé le Premier ministre à adresser nation. Yon nan se bagay là il fait bien clair. Là il vient pour l'argent nous ka amasser puis mener en tout un pays ça même a trouvé quoi affecté expressement qu'on nous pas ni monde ka visiter les affaires touristes par exemple pour qu'aitan dans un mois quoi présent qui et moi nous ka parler du taxe et puis l'argent gouvernement a ramassé bagay bon plus 100 000 millions excusez-moi et qu'à présent le gouvernement tout fait quoi dans situation qu'on a amassé moins que 40 000 millions de dollars qu'on ou porter à manière mais enfin nous avons qui ça qui a fait là parce que le gouvernement a ici à 5e session 11e parlement était tenu hier là nous tous les deux factions qui la joignent ni House of Assembly et puis Senate là yo joignent et puis l'autre bagaille qui était bien intéressé pour nous et ben nous qui point coup dans différentes manières c'est là il venu pour gouverneur général là monsieur Snap lui adressé mais il fait ça par vidéo. Et puis, comme j'ai bien dit, nous avons discuté en chai, en ces plans gouvernementaux pour l'année ça, et puis qui manière c'est la Hansa qui a trouvé quoi alloqué, et puis qui manière il a dépensé. C'est pour ça, là, il vient pour l'argent, nous avons parlé d'hier, le gouvernement a expecté pour dépenser à peu près 1 billion 697 millions 312 800 dollars. Et là où c'est l'argent, ça c'est l'argent qui a trouvé quoi déposé, ben l'argent qui a passé en consolidated fund et puis l'autre fonds qui a entré en pays. Quand le gouvernement a dit qu'il dit nation, ben nous avons qui manière c'est l'argent ça qui a trouvé quoi alloqué et qui manière encore ma brisendou là venu pour situation corona et vermin ça ça fait affaire un petit plus difficile mais nous avons une manière qui fait et puis nous avons encouragé pour waiter et puis non ça nous avons discuté un petit plus aujourd'hui nous avons développement avec ça qui a fait ici parce que nous avons continué par information et par éducation pour même pécatiler nous avons aller en détail les venir pour rapport gouverneur général qui a mis en détail qui ça et qui manière gouvernement qui a alloqué c'est l'argent ça pour l'année qui va venir avec situation nous dans la gestion.
We are due for a break. Do take a look at a few of these PSAs, and when we come back, we will get into the throne speech delivered by the Governor General yesterday. Stay tuned.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the program. This is St. Lucia's COVID-19 response report. We're delivering it to you live from the Parliament building this morning as we continue with the opening of the 5th session of the 11th Parliament in St. Lucia. And just to give you a press release that we received from the Department of Health and Wellness, Vaccination Week of the Americas. Just reading a few excerpts from their fellow citizens. St. Lucia joins the rest of the Caribbean and Latin America in celebrating the 18th Vaccination Week of the Americas from Saturday, April 25th to May 2nd, 2020, under the theme Love, Trust, Protect, Get Vaccinated. And this celebration coincides with the World Health Organization's 9th anniversary of World Immunization Week, with the theme Vaccines Work for All, aiming to promote the use of vaccines to protect people of all ages against diseases. In light of this, countries are urged to continue their efforts to close the gap that exists in vaccination coverage. Just some more information on St. Lucia's immunization program. St. Lucia's expanded immunization program has yielded numerous successes since its commencement in 1977, and the program is executed at the various wellness centers across the length and breadth of the island, as well as private sector pediatricians. The service is accessed by target groups via a range of delivery options, namely facility-based vaccination, house-to-house, school-based vaccination, and community outreach. The service can also be accessed through private sector health facilities. So that word there coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness on the observance of Vaccination Week of the Americas. Of course, this was an address delivered by the permanent secretary.
Merci Chay Jesse. Nous avons dit bienvenue avec merci Chay pour vous qui a écouté nous, pour qui a suivi nous. Aujourd'hui, on a observé, nous avons un rapport qui a sorti là, qui est concite. Hier, c'était 5e session, 11e Parlement Saint-Lucie. Et puis le gouvernement en tension, parmi l'autre bagaille, c'est pour présenter le budget. Hier aussi, elle est venue pour le comité finance. Yo joine et yo kay présenté un rapport et puis budget kay tout fait kay discuter en chaque bagay différent nous ka mener ça pour attention ou kay ça vieux gouverneur général là il pas jamais fait inspection garde là il a pas même ni ces garde là l'autre bagay là il fait comme message li il adressé nation il fait ça par vidéo en dedans kay parlement il parti là lui-même et puis il pas permettre mon citoyen cette ici pour entrer en chambre parlement pour observer qui ça qui a fait tout ça parce que nous avons suivi protocole les venus pour vermine COVID-19 quand nous en chaque bagaille différent avec manière qui a affecté quand journée en cas aller messieurs dames nous allons continuer par information et rapport nous aujourd'hui a sorti ici comme bien de le premier ministre a présenté budget là aujourd'hui avec nous en détail parmi l'autre bagaille nous fait nous plan pour budget là qui manière c'est l'argent ça tout fait quoi alloqué.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we go to the throne speech delivered by the Governor General just yesterday with the opening of the 5th session of the 11th Parliament. Just to go over, we saw the opening of the House of Assembly and the Senate separately, and them adjourning, rising to have the joint session to listen to the Governor General's throne speech. Beginning with commendations to frontliners, everyone who's been involved in the COVID-19 fight. He also issued condolences to those who've lost loved ones abroad due to this pandemic. He opened the address, I should say, with health and speaking on developments that have been made in the health sector, and we already know of them, the transition to the OKEU hospital in swift order, among many other measures to begin to manage and deal with this pandemic in St. Lucia. The Governor General did stress in his address that his government will also, while dealing with COVID-19, also simultaneously promote other initiatives to develop the health sector overall. And he also stated within the health aspect that the government will enact legislation to define and effect the governance structure for the national health insurance. Going on to talk about tackling communicable diseases, improving health facilities and laboratory capacity, and strengthening public health surveillance and emergency management capabilities. So that word there from the Governor General on health. And also directly after health, there was the engagement on agriculture and food security. The speaker spoke on the importance of agriculture, and he did note that his government intends to continue to emphasize these areas together with the resuscitation of the banana industry and building resilience to climate change and disaster risk reduction. We've been hearing a lot of talk about the resuscitation, the revitalization of bananas in St. Lucia, especially when we come to hear about, to speak on food security, heavy reliance on the tourism sector, beginning to diversify the economy, not reduce, the space that has been made with tourism, but to expand the economy and make a space for agriculture. The Plant Protection Act, he also stated, will be revised to prevent and control the entry of pests into St. Lucia, adhering to the International Plant Protection Convention. So that word there on promotion of agriculture and food security. In terms of tourism, he did state that in the coming year, there will be the enactment of legislation to provide for a state-owned company to administer village tourism in St. Lucia and to govern the St. Lucia Tourism Council. the entity which will spearhead such areas as advocacy, identification, research. Also, the Tourism's Incentives Act will be revised, and its scope will be broadened to ensure that it is applicable to new niche tourism segments and reflects international best practice and creates a more favorable investment climate. Also, word on inclusive education. We did see him speaking on the integration, the promotion of project for integration of information and technology in education, smart classroom initiatives being underway. And we're seeing the need for that even more now with regard to COVID-19, how we all have to now move to the e-learning platforms and ideally so we saw the Ministry of Education working on e-learning platforms well before you know, the onset of COVID-19. So there is an effort of this administration to reach all citizens and to ensure that no child is left behind. He did stress that his government will continue the Education Quality Improvement Project as well as the CARE program, ensuring that adequate support is available to those with special needs as well. Just a few pointers from education, but it was quite extensive word on that. Enhancing security and justice, those were some interesting points as well that he made. The intent of his government to intensify efforts to reduce serious crime, the full implementation of the Safe City Closed Circuit Television Initiative, and continued implementation of the community policing strategy. And closed circuit television has been, you know, the talk for many years. We've seen this, the beginnings of this implementation, and hopefully we can begin to see this roll out in full. He also mentioned that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force will be restructured to improve efficiency and efficacy. Another point to note, important point to note, is the enactment of the Criminal Investigations Deoxyribonucleic Acid DNA Bill, which will provide for DNA analysis and testing in the investigation and prosecution of offences. Further, he noted it is imperative that we protect our borders even while participating fully in the international arena. And so there is a plan, he stated, that to create the St. Lucia Border Control Agency comprising customs, excise, immigration, the police marine unit, and quarantine. This St. Lucia Border Control Agency, the act for it will establish the agency and set out related governance arrangements. A modern border management system which will be integral, he says, an integral element of the agency's operation, will permit a more efficient flow of people and goods while enhancing risk assessment and border control. So that word there from the Governor General on security in St. Lucia. Also important, the modernizing of the public service. And we have seen again, why I stated that this speech seemed to orbit around COVID-19 and our response to COVID-19, the digital transformation, the modernization of the public service. We've seen more than ever before, even with the Permanent Secretary of the Public Service, the Department of Public Service, speaking yesterday on the services that are now available, business continuity operations of key public agencies in St. Lucia. We understand that it's been very difficult, you know, however these agencies, these public services that are afforded to the population are very important. And even under COVID-19 circumstances, they must continue to operate. Definitely. And he spoke about the digital transformation project that, when fully operational in St. Lucia, will facilitate the provision of 154 services across 8 ministries via a single window platform. And through this initiative, he states that citizens, businesses, investments, and other government agencies can apply and make payments online for services such as renewal of driver's licenses, passports, and national IDs. I can imagine how convenient such a move would be, you know, for the people of St. Lucia. And I see the COVID-19, you know, in a lot of respects as, you know, the silver lining. You know, there's a silver lining in this cloud that we're seeing with COVID-19 in giving us the impetus, the push to move ahead with some of these projects that have been pending for some time. The Governor General also spoke about, well, the very point there, you know, the added impetus to move forward even more aggressively with the DigiGov initiative during the coming financial year. The government, he says, will also determine the commencement date for the Electronic Transaction Act in order to ensure there is legislation to support the government digital platform. So quite a few, when you look at the framework that is ahead of us, quite a lot of measures that need to be put in place before we can get the ball rolling, full steam ahead. The Data Protection Act, if we're still talking about that subject, will also be commenced. Additionally, the Electronic Data Interchange Act will also support information exchange and the integration of functions of key public service agencies. So that word from the Governor General on the modernization of public services.
Yeah. And definitely, Jesse, we could see a cross-section, and it gives a sneak peek into exactly where government wants to allocate and the direction government is expected to take. And rightly so, ironically, when it has to do with our coronavirus, that a lot of those we are seeing, if not already been implemented, had to take that direction one way or the other as it relates. Encore nous ka di sou ka koute nou ek ka chile qui ça qui a fait nous ici en conseil parlement kon la coutume headquarters COVID-19 là nous ka ba information et développement qui a fait budget à sous l'idée tout le monde et à présent on savent nous en temps pour budget et jodi ça ka commencer là vini pour manière bagay ka marcher là vini pour budget là hier ouais 5e session 11e parlement et puis budget a commencé nous tant paroli gouverneur général là et normalement l'automne commission qui a sorti gouverneur général là qui a ba ou idée qui manière gouvernement qui a dépensé l'argent qui manière gouvernement qui a fait là vini pour direction il veut mener pays. Malheureusement, moi ni pour dire malheureusement, là il vient pour vermine corona, nous trouvons qu'on est dans une situation côté gouvernement veut mener pays dans un côté, mais il y a présent ni corona pour lui-même agir et puis vermine. Quoi, nous allons aller en détail et puis ver un petit appli. Là il vient pour commission gouverneur général là. Quand la coutume à présent qu'on fait ça, qu'on savent, mon ka dit merci pour ce travail ici inchallah. Gouverneur général Lampaté fait pièce exception. Il dit merci pour ces gens qui travaillent, ces gens médicaux là, ces gens état secours. Il dit merci by ces mounza. Il pas oublier police security, ces gens qui travaillent en hôtel et puis ces gens qui ni ces petites boutiques là, ces supermarkets là, nous ka parler gas station. Ces gens ni moi, tous ces gens ça, il dit, il ni pour dire merci by ces gens ça de manière qui spéciale. Et yon bagay nous kay ni pour changer, il fait mentionner gouvernement Cuba avec assistance là, il bail là il vini pour ces gens médicaux là, docteurs, nurses et puis équipement. Nous ka parler dit en 113 gens docteurs et puis monde qui qualifié en médical là, ingénieur, c'est monde ça venir pour assister situation ici. Il y a aussi maintenant République China, Taïwan. Il dit merci by c'est monde ça qui bien savent. C'est monde ça aussi pas seulement la sec mais c'est moun sa ba nous équipement c'est moun sa bay masse à peu près 40 000 masses quand il commence ka bay délivrer commission ka remercier ces différents ces moun sa quand il continue il y en a ces bagages là qu'ils savent il fait mentionner c'est là il vini pour manière kawaii blanc te a trouvé ko yo affecté par hurricane et puis ka même temps sec là il parlait de Omar et puis Maria c'est pas ça croisé français d'évasion là à présent il a dit mi à présent nous n'y un hurricane nous pas quand même moins senti ça a pas nisé par la main et il fait mentionner de vermine corona quoi qui ça a été ni pour dire qui manière gouvernement qui a aller devant et manière yo kay fait en parmi bagay yo parler pour gouvernement il dit gouvernement était hakatile l'année ça quand l'année de santé il dit ça c'est un gouvernement te hani à sous agenda yo te hakouye l'année ça en l'année pour santé malheureusement nous kay ni pour dire nous vermine corona virus la vini so quand il a dit là où pour ça qui a fait la plan gouvernement pour adresser l'hôpital Victoria. Ça, c'était un plan qui était en place. et puis et plan ça tout fait quoi avancer as a résultat de vermin corona là on ça les venir pour monde qui ni problème coronavirus c'est là yo ka traiter yo là tout fait quoi place là on y pour aller et si on est pièce difficulté ben on ka monter pièce signe de vermin avant mi l'autre bagaille on ça transition pour l'hôpital Owen King EU on ça gouvernement fait transition ça quand ça tout fait quoi déjà en place avec ka marché. Il touchait un chay les vini pour gouvernement avec législation gouvernement qui mettait en place les vini pour NIC. À présent quand savent là nan chay parler de manière bagay qui a marché là avec ça qui a fait là quand là il dit gouvernement qui promoter initiative les vini pour développer ça. A parler de bagay qui est important qu'avait commission gouverneur général là agriculture là nous gouverneur général a parlé du gouvernement avec intention pour vier lever industrie fig là pour vier entamer en parmi l'autre bagaille il parlait d'un bill aussi un acte qui Plant Protection Act il dit ça c'est un bagage yo kay visiter et yo kay manière yo kay mettre en place pour contrôler vermine et deux fois presque entrer Saint-Lucie pour kay savent les venir pour secteur tourisme toutes ces bagages ça c'est plan gouvernement qui ça kay fait yon dans ces bagages là gouverneur général a mentionné les venir pour ces petits villages là à présent yo kay mener touristes en ces petits villages là qui manière yo kay fait ça yo dit yo kay commencer puis ça yo couiller yon compagnie village tourism yo kay bay titre là il kay tout fait quoi gouverné par Saint Lucia Tourist Council conseil tourist Saint Lucie ça yo kay dit yo kay qui kay développer et yo kay mettre dans action dans ça Tourism Incentive Act c'est un autre acte gouvernement qui a visité et yo ka acheter pour qui manière et yo ka fait plus grand les vini pour les affaires tourisme quand l'année en chaque information qui sorti en adresse gouverneur général là éducation et que yon ces bagaille là moi qui bien changé ils ont mentionné ces personnes pas qui été derrière il parlait de ces gens infimes et manière yo ka mettre bagaille en place by ces gens infimes et les vini aussi pour éducation ou qu'ils savent à présent en chay ça qui a fait à présent c'est computer en chay bagay qui a fait à présent moun ka étudier sur internet là quand gouvernement dit yo kay encourager ça et yo kay fait plus les vini pour ça sécurité yon a ces bagay là qui sort de commission les vini pour caméra en place là les vini pour gouvernement ni caméra côté et yo même ça contrôler bagay kon crime ça c'était yon a ces bagay là qui sorti à l'adresse gouverneur général là nous t'en parler du DNA gouvernement dit yo kay vier annoncer bill ça bill investigation en criminel là pour yo qui manière yo kay mener ça devant parlement bon nous et toutes les autres places là nous kay moi gouvernement dit yo kay ve en dedans ça ou pas de kay il pas de kay doit si nous pas une information qui sorti hors secteur service public là les vini pour 154 services qui vini ensemble moi quoi c'est yon c'est plus grand annoncement nous tend les vini pour gouvernement et qu'a mener secteur public là plus moderne ou kay savent yo ka parler de service pour ID cadeau Batisteo application registration business ou moun qui a mené en licence pour important bagay ou ka attendre attention gouvernement pour mener toutes ces services ça et moi do encore appui 8 différents ministries et nous ka appui 154 services quand tout ça ka tombe en bas attention gouvernement pour moderniser secteur ça et moi même cadeau ça c'est on c'est bail là moi plus content transaction électronique c'est yon qui parle en acte pour date qui est ça avec à présent moi nous ka nécessité expressément qu'on nous pas ni pour yon à l'autre et puis pour chain protocole social comment bien d'où un chat trouvé qu'on y a adressé, mais nous pas plein tête tout et puis yon mais qu'on nous ka aller avec baou développement, nous ka examiner et parmi ces bagages la gouverneur général là mener dehors et ben ban nous plus d'informations pour qui manière gouvernement a dépensé l'argent ça là pour faire budget nous.
Wonderful. We are due for a break, as mentioned. However, when we do come back, we will be just wrapping up with the excerpts from the throne speech, as well as hearing from the NIC chair. Do stay tuned for that.
Coronavirus, but children are safe, no?
Hold up. Children are actually more likely to touch all kinds of surfaces, put their hands on their mouths and their eyes, or sneeze and cough with little thought about hygiene when around others. While children have been seen to recover well from this virus, they can easily spread it to those more at risk, like the elderly or ill persons who have a weaker immune system. Teach the little ones in your care to be little powerhouses of infection prevention. Keep reminding them, wash your hands. Cover your mouth with tissue or your inner elbow when you sneeze and cough. And be sure to praise them when you see them taking these precautions.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Probably done that next.
Email
Welcome back to the program this morning. If you are just joining us, you are watching NTN Live, and we have brought our St. Lucia COVID-19 response report down to the Parliament building in Castries. We continue with the proceedings that have opened the 5th session of the 11th Parliament here in St. Lucia. Yesterday we saw the House of Assembly, the House of Representatives, as well as the upper house, the Senate, both meeting separately and adjourning to rise for a joint sitting of Parliament to listen to the delivery of the Governor General with his throne speech yesterday. And we have since been going over some snippets, the 10 polls really of the Governor General's delivery yesterday. And just to continue, the Governor General spoke on, I believe it was international relations, as well as improving, having resilient infrastructure in St. Lucia. He did state that a significant emphasis will be placed on upgrading and expanding targeted sections of the road network in St. Lucia, including where feasible the construction of alternative routes. And so quite interesting to find out how that will pan out.
Right.
The rehabilitation of feeder and agricultural roads will continue, as will the maintenance of bridges and culverts, and the desilting of rivers, ravines, drains, island-wide. So there is the effort to design the national infrastructure to support St. Lucia's economic development thrust, and just facilitating access to new lands for commercial, residential, and touristic development, and ensuring that there is sufficient capacity for a future expansion in St. Lucia, putting us in the best position possible infrastructurally to take on the expansion of the economy.
Definitely, Jesse, something I think we all could attest to, especially now with development infrastructure, of course, on our road networks. Speaking of which, the government did make mention to our international relations, and the Governor General did mention when it has to do with CAFRA and CARICOM coming to assist, you know, member nations, and the leadership role that they played, you know, especially in our national health service. CARICOM and its secretariat are very crucial when it came to that. And in other cases, I mean, here's what the government is saying. In order to promote CARICOM and OECS integration agendas, my government will ratify outstanding treaties and enact legislation to give effect to those treaties. So very interesting when it comes to the intention here. Those treaties, a lot of them we hear about, you know, them on the table, but decisions and to implement them. I could see now how the virus with the coronavirus right now, you know, in effect, a lot of that we will now seize the intention of the government to see that we go that way. And of course, we did speak to Dr. Radix, and of course, she did mention at the heads of meeting one very important point that came out of it, that St. Lucia's Prime Minister has been charged with the responsibility of coming up with, you know, the ideas or leading the charge when it comes to reopening our borders and getting back on track. So we do see, of course, the intention of fostering that relationship and getting CARICOM, you know, to, you know, sign on those treaties, our free movement, trade, healthcare, you know, our sporting. All of those could come into effect. Encore sous kakatili sa ka fait, nous n'avons pas de information là vini pour commission gouverneur général avec intention gouvernement expressement dans temps qu'on à présent là vini pour infrastructure avec là vini pour développement pays au cas où en chai intention la gouvernement dit intention c'est pour ranger ceci maintenant chez chimien avec banou pli chimien pas ça seulement là vini pour agriculture chimien pour aller en ces places ça et faire assurer ça fait parmi l'autre bagaille aussi ou kay savent là vini pour nous avec relation nous et puis les autres pays en CARICOM qui fait mentionner CAFRE, qui c'est yon qui n'est pour faire santé, avec manière c'est moun ça vient assistance, CARICOM, tout ça nous ka ouais c'est yon qui bien important. Quand a Jesse nous ka ouais intention bon, et nous ouais côté ka aller nous ka tant pli, là venu pour ça aujourd'hui avec kon budget ka continuer.
Definitely. And that's a wrap up of the essential points brought out from the throne speech of the Governor General yesterday. We just want to remind you, and we don't want to get sidetracked by this reality, this stark reality that St. Lucia continues to remain on high alert for COVID-19. And we do hope that you're continuing to exercise the physical distancing protocols, that in your going out and coming in, you take the necessary measures to protect yourself and your family. You use the masks, you abide by the rules of the curfew, the zoning measures that have been put in place. Of course, the Royal St. Lucian Police Force, the law enforcement are out and about, and we hope that you don't end up on the wrong side of the law. We hope that you continue to abide by the laws in St. Lucia. We have been seeing St. Lucians, as we're more in the city center, St. Lucians are wearing their masks, and we want to commend you for that. We want to commend everybody for entering businesses, for sticking to the lines that have been placed on the outside, as well as the measures that have been put in place by each business on the inside as well. We have a word from the National Insurance Corporation chair, and of course it's much anticipated. Many people are expecting some official updates from the NIC. And just to let you know, earlier this week there was an announcement made by the NIC regarding the economic relief program, that there would be no hard copy applications being taken in for economic relief due to COVID-19, and that all of the applications would have to be made electronically. We now go to a statement being made by the chairman of the National Insurance Corporation to give you more information on its efforts ongoing.
First off, I wish to clarify that the payments to be made to the NIC contributors under the Economic Relief Program do not in any way constitute a grant or donation to the government of St. Lucia. In fact, this was a carefully thought out program of assistance developed by the NIC for the benefit of its contributors in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, which, as is well known to all, is causing untold destruction to the global economy and is having an unprecedented negative impact on St. Lucia. It is also well known that with the lockdown, most businesses are closed, including hotels, which employ a high percentage of our people, resulting in significant layoffs, redundancies, reduced incomes, etc. In effect, there is little economic activity taking place, which is very likely to be the situation for the next few months. And so given these extraordinary developments, it was necessary for NIC to at least investigate the possibility of providing some form of relief to contributors who are being affected by this crisis, bearing in mind that many of them were already inquiring as to how the NIC would help. In fact, we consider it our duty to assist our contributors where possible. Let me say that foremost in our minds was the need to provide support, but without compromising the long-term viability or the long-term survivability of the fund. Now, in assessing long-term financial sustainability or survivability for any social security, one of the most important metrics is the concept of depletion date or the life of the fund. Essentially, what this is really saying, or what this really means, is given the state of the social security scheme in terms of its reserves, its contribution income, benefits expenditure, which includes pension, sickness benefits, demographic factors such as mortality rate and retirement age, and the contributions currently being paid by both employees and employers, how long would the fund last before it is exhausted? Now, this is an analysis that is performed by an independent actuary, and in the case of NIC St. Lucia, an actuarial analysis is required to be done by law every 5 years. Now, based on the last actuarial results, the NIC depletion date is estimated to be the year 2050. That is in 30 years from now, which is the current life of the fund. I hasten to add that notwithstanding the concept of depletion date, social securities are never permitted to deplete their reserves, given their ongoing obligation to meet future benefits. In other words, by changing some of the variables I mentioned earlier, such as contribution rate and adjusting the retirement age, the life of the fund could be extended, as has happened in St. Lucia over the years. Of course, how well the investment portfolio is managed will impact the reserves as well as the life of the fund. Now, I am pleased to say that NIC St. Lucia is amongst the best in the Caribbean in terms of longevity and undoubtedly one of the strongest regional social securities. I think that's generally well known throughout the region. Let me also point out that before the board and management decided on this economic relief program, we undertook a detailed analysis which included checking with our actuaries to ascertain what impact the program would have on the life of the fund or what latitude we had to support such a program. NIC also looked at a number of scenarios involving, for example, cost with or without public sector workers, bearing in mind some public sector workers fall under the NIC Social Security Scheme. We also examined several scenarios in terms of the costs if, say, 30%, 40%, or 50% or 60% contributors submitted claims for the periods of 3 and 6 months. Now, the least cost scenario of $32.6 million for 3 months, as you would have heard in the Parliament, that is, if claims are received from only 30% of contributors, excluding public sector workers. Also, the worst case scenario for 3 months, if claims are received from 60% of contributors, which includes public sector workers, is $80.2 million. Of course, the final amount would be much less if public sector contributors are left out altogether, assuming they will keep their jobs, and also if the percentage of contributors claiming falls well below 60%. Now, it is important to note that based on the worst case scenario for 3 months, the program would reduce the life of the fund by only 7 months out of a total of 30 years, which I'm sure you will agree is quite low and should not be cause for concern, especially when viewed in the context of the much needed support to be provided to contributors at this time. Now, if the NIC were to agree to extend the program by a further 3 months, the overall reduction will be 14 months. But of course, we expect the final impact to be less than this. Let me emphasize that these relatively small reductions in depletion date and reserves do not in any way compromise long-term viability or sustainability of the fund, and still keeps St. Lucia NIC amongst the best and strongest in the Caribbean. Now, with respect to your question as to where the money is coming from, let me assure our contributors and the general public that the reserves of the NIC remain strong, and it is from these reserves that the economic relief program will be funded. The total assets of the NIC currently stands at approximately $2.2 billion. Further, NIC does have the liquidity to support the relief program with about $380 million in cash resources. The external audit of the NIC for the period ended 2019 is almost completed, and we should soon be in a position to submit to the responsible minister the annual report for onward transmission to the Parliament. The annual report will, of course, confirm those figures. Regarding your question as to whether NIC would be willing to extend the program past 6 months, let me clarify that the program is for an initial period of 3 months, that is April to June. After we have had a good sense of the number of persons affected, the ongoing impact on businesses, and the financial costs, the NIC may consider extending the program for a further period of 3 months. However, we have not considered extending the program beyond 6 months. As to how long the corporation will be able to maintain this program, we have only considered a maximum of 6 months and have no intention of going beyond that period. We should, of course, all hope that the situation in St. Lucia will improve by then. Does the NIC have an appetite to extend the mandate to add unemployment insurance as one of these benefits? I would say there is a compelling case for the NIC to do so, given what many of our contributors are going through right now in terms of economic hardship due to the loss of their jobs and, of course, being made redundant. As you know, our country is unfortunately vulnerable to external shocks. We did not cause COVID-19, yet we are feeling the negative consequences in a significant way. We also recall what happened during the global financial crisis in 2008. St. Lucia is also vulnerable, as we all know, to natural disasters such as hurricanes, and we've all witnessed the impact these external shocks can have on our country and our people. There is therefore a good case for the NIC to provide unemployment benefits as part of its normal offering. But as with everything else, this will come at a cost, which have implications for the contributions made by workers and employers. My board will certainly investigate that possibility and will be guided by the advice of the actuaries and consultations with all relevant stakeholders. In closing, on behalf of the board and management of NIC, let me say how pleased we are to have been able to make this relief program available to our contributors who have been affected by this global crisis at a time when that support is most needed. Let me assure our contributors and the general public that we are satisfied that we made a responsible decision and that the long-term survivability of the fund will not in any way be compromised. And very importantly, our contributors will be able to receive their pensions when they retire. Also, it is important to note that NIC St. Lucia is not alone in extending this support to its contributors. Indeed, many social security schemes throughout the world have been providing various forms of support in these unprecedented times. And finally, let me say that NIC St. Lucia has over the years provided significant yet deserving support to the needy and many persons in our country who have never contributed a cent to the NIC. And so it would be unconscionable if we did not extend a helping hand through this relief program to the people who actually contribute to the NIC in order to assist them to take care of the most basic needs in this very, very difficult period. I thank you.
That was Dr. Isaac Anthony, the chairman of the National Insurance Corporation, just giving information in terms of the due diligence that was involved in coming to this decision to extend a helping hand to St. Lucian contributors at this time of the coronavirus and its very crippling effects on the economy. He did state also that, you know, St. Lucia's NIC is one of many social security schemes that have kicked into gear in terms of helping the population, in terms of providing services for the population at this time, accommodating, you know, its contributors as best as possible with some economic relief to tide through the COVID-19 crisis. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have more developments coming for you. Do stay tuned. We have some important updates, some press releases that we've received. So Carlton and I will be giving you those updates in just a moment. If you're just joining us, do stay tuned. Welcome to the live. We're live on NTN from the Parliament building with the continuation of the 5th session of the 11th Parliament. The estimates of expenditure will be read this morning. So we expect and we hope that you can stay tuned for that proceeding.
Coronavirus? But children are safe, no?
Hold up. Children are actually more likely to touch all kinds of surfaces, put their hands on their mouths and their eyes, or sneeze and cough with little thought about hygiene when around others. While children have been seen to recover well from this virus, they can easily spread it to those more at risk, like the elderly or ill persons who have a weaker immune system. Teach the little ones in your care to be little powerhouses of infection prevention. Keep reminding them, wash your hands. Cover your mouth with tissue or your inner elbow when you sneeze and cough. And be sure to praise them when you see them taking these precautions.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
And again, we say welcome to one and all. Thanks for viewing from Parliament House in Castries. Here we are reporting, of course, government is sitting in the 5th session of our 11th Parliament. But our job continues here at the headquarters, COVID-19, bringing you the development and information as it happens. My co-host Jesse Leons and Carlton Cyril. As we mentioned, we have a number of press releases, among them one from Solid Waste Management, and it reads, the public is advised that the once weekly solid waste collection service remains in effect. However, some adjustments are required in order to facilitate a timely collection of solid waste. The new collection schedule for the affected communities is as follows. Please pay attention. The following communities within the Viewfort collection zone, your new waste collection day is Tuesday. I repeat, the following communities within the Viewfort collection zone, your new waste collection day is Tuesday. That's Savans Bay and Palmis. The following communities within the Viewfort collection zone, the zone, your collection day is Wednesday, and we refer to Black Bay, Uranora Orchard, and Cedar Heights. Again, the following communities within the Viewfort zone, the new waste collection day is Wednesday, and that refers to Black Bay, Uranora Orchard, and of course, Cedar Heights. The following communities within Outer Castries zone, your new waste collection day is Wednesday, and we refer to Bocage, Ravin, Chabot, Upper Waterworks Road, that's up to Cedars, Leslieland, Waterworks Junction, Lacoudou, Forestier, Geno, Tirocher, for four roads, Jiwa, Kako, the concrete road in Kako, and near the playing field. Your collection day is Wednesday. The following communities within the Grosile area, your waste collection day is a Wednesday, and we speak of Mont Serpent, we speak of Eagle Woods, Degazon, and Union Terrace. The following communities within the library collection zone, Laboui, your new waste collection day is Wednesday, and of course we speak of Bus Road from Lacroix, Bus intersection near the gas station, Gentil, Biga, Bus, Lagoas, Aubilieu, Fontbenier, Lao, Mont Leblanc. Not forgetting Piaille, Balka, Le Pearl, Londonderry, Gintwe, Jiwa, Daban, Saltibus, Park Estate, Montliwa, Gaillan-Bois, Tetmon, and of course Balambush. Your collection date in those areas, library that is Wednesday. The following communities within Choiseul collection zone, your new waste collection day is Wednesday, and we spoke of course, Degas, Dupré, Café, Dibrel, Rablo, Lamaz, and of course Montet. Collection day is Wednesday. The following communities within Soufre collection, Soufre is Thursday, and of course Fontbenier, Winsville, and New Extension. So please be advised, of course, a message coming from St. Lucia Solid Waste. Jesse?
Quite a handful, a mouthful of information there from the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority. As you would have realized, the stabilization and recovery efforts, these two phases in our response, our management of coronavirus in St. Lucia seem to be happening almost simultaneously. We see that we're in trying to stabilize the economy as well as the recovery. And part of recovery efforts is the phased reopening of St. Lucia's economy. And speaking of that, we have the construction sector that has reopened this week. In preparation for the reopening of the construction sector on Monday, April 27th, the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labor, a press release, encourages quarry operators, producers of concrete, contractors and construction firms to apply for permission to operate under the Emergency Powers Disaster COVID-19 Curfew number 6 order. And so qualifying contractors and farms will be mandated to operate in accordance with Part 4, the Occupational Safety and Health of the Labor Act Cap 1604 of the revised laws of St. Lucia, as well as national COVID-19 protocols for the construction sector. So application forms for businesses and individuals within the construction sector who would like to operate during this time, since it's been reopened April 27th. Application forms and related information are now available via the Government of St. Lucia's website, govt.lc, or by contacting the Department of Labor via email labordepartmentslu@gmail.com. So that information there coming from the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labor. And finally, just a reminder, the update on public transport sector permissions. Buses are now permitted an increase to 9 passengers, 2 per seat, with 1 at the front with the operator, of course, on a 14-seater bus. Just a reminder to wear your mask when you're boarding any public transport, and no air condition is allowed on the public transport. The 2H, that's the Viewport, and the 3F Soufre buses, a limited number of buses are now allowed to operate to and from the capital to facilitate the commute of individuals. So, of course, passengers would have to show and explain their business to and from the capital, to Viewport and Soufre, to law enforcement zone border checkpoints. So that important information there to note. Hopefully we can have the NCOPT give us an update on how efficient and this project, this permission has worked out for public transport. We've now run out of time. We go back to studio. My name is Jessie Leonce, Carlton Cyril signing off for now, but we do hope that you stay tuned to NTN Live for the day. We will be commencing the estimates of expenditure shortly in the House of Assembly.
Wash your hands, wash them before.